Today the world stands on a threshold of great changes. Everyone is concerned whether the world economy is coming out of crisis or just about to hit its second wave. What is the role of the Black Sea economies in this process, and what potential does the region have? If you look at the world map, Black Sea region accounts for almost 13% of the world's land mass, 5% of the world's population and 6% of the planet's GDP. The Organization for Black Sea Economic Cooperation member states, with a population of more than 320 million people, make up a significant potential market. It's one of the most diverse and attractive regions in the new millennium. Various rankings, such as the International Competitiveness Index, Index of Democracy, Human Development and Quality of Life, demonstrate that the Black Sea national economies maintain high positions and show positive dynamics in their development. And what are the current trends of the global economy which directly affect the Black Sea Basin countries' development? According to the IMF report, a sharp slowdown in global economic growth is predicted, especially in 2012. The negative forecast has affected even usually positive outlook for China and India. The world economy is suffering from a coincidence of two adverse changes. On one hand, there is a much slower economy growth in the most stable developed countries. On the other, according to most risk scenarios, the prospects of countries with emerging economies are much better, and their growth rates will remain quite high, especially in countries with extensive domestic markets. In this regard, the International Monetary Fund recommends to countries with developed economies to adopt stronger policy and economic measures. And what is the forecast for the Black Sea countries? A major share of the Black Sea region's GDP is provided by Russian Federation and Turkey. At the same time, in 2010, Ukraine's GDP and Crimean GRP growth and industrial production were ahead of such countries as Russia, Bulgaria and Serbia, but behind the dynamic economies of Georgia and Turkey. According to the forecast of the Black Sea Trade and Development Bank, an increase in the region's GDP is predicted at 3.5% in 2011, which in general corresponds with the global trends. Foreign direct investments volume will rise gradually, but in 2011 will still not yet reach the pre-crisis level. Ukraine also plans to exceed the economic performance of the year 2007 by 2.5 percentage points by the end of 2012, while this year Ukraine shows 5% GDP growth. High credit rating of the majority of the Black Sea countries should spearhead further efforts to improve the investment attractiveness of the region as a whole and increase the national economy's competitiveness. And what about Crimea? Today, the Autonomous Republic of Crimea is one of the most dynamically developing regions of Ukraine. Effective joint efforts of both central and local government contributed to improving of the credit rating of Crimea to a positive forecast, which has allowed to more than double the foreign investment growth in the first 6 months of 2011. In terms of attracting of FDIs, the Republic of Crimea in Ukraine is second only to the city of Kiev. Industry, transport, hotels and restaurants have been the main sectors for investments from such countries as the Russian Federation, Germany and Austria. According to projections, Crimean GRP growth in 2011-2012 is expected to reach 8.5%. Investments into fixed assets will be increased by 15% annually, and in 2012 are to exceed 1 billion euros. Crimea has achieved political stability and an inter-ethnic harmony. Administrative reforms have been carried out. The strategy for development of Crimea until 2020 was adopted by the Crimean parliament. Key government and republican programs aimed at development of all spheres of the economy of peninsula have been designed. To create more favorable climate for investors, a package of legislative initiatives was developed which defined the rules of investment activity in Crimea. For the first time, open land auctions were introduced. With the support of EU and UNDP, the Agency for Regional Development of Crimea was established. It operates as a single investment window. The Unified Republican Permit Center operates in Crimea, and more efforts on business deregulation are underway. The strategy for Crimea 2020 is a roadmap, which reflects the region's potential and development priorities. It fully complies with the program of economic reforms of the President of Ukraine for 2010-2014 and relevant programs of the government of Ukraine. The strategy of Crimea 2020 for the first time defined Crimea as a platform for Ukraine's integration into the Black Sea region. Implementation of the Crimea strategy will allow the Republic to ensure by 2020 GRP growth of the Republic of 1.8 times, tripling of an annual flux of FDIs. increase in average monthly salary of 5.3 times, increase in the investments into fixed assets of 3.8 times. The basic ideology of the Crimea 2020 strategy is to have successful Crimea in successful Ukraine. Crimea with pragmatically designed, innovative, energy-efficient economy, educated youth and employed population living in peace and enjoying the well-being in one of the best spots on earth. Crimea 2020. Welcome to Crimea.